We have Catherine, the Princess of Wales, making her first joint appearance with Prince William for 2024 after finishing her chemotherapy treatments. We have seemingly state visits galore going on all across Europe. And we have Heredity Grand Duke William taking over for his father in some official capacity in Luxembourg. And the ladies showing up in their either fashion best or fashion worst. We will have to let you know. And Meghan Markle making a surprising appearance in both one of the most hideous outfits we have ever seen and one of her better appearances, of course. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Royal Fashion News. My name is Brittany, and this channel is for all of those who have a passion for royal fashion. And today we are going to go over some of the best and worst dressed of the last couple of weeks. I know I've missed a couple of these. Things have been kind of weird and crazy, especially since Royal Fashion Police turned everything private, because sometimes I would use them to just keep up with some of the people that I don't see all the time. And all of a sudden I was like, I don't know, everything's kind of melding together. But we are going to go over and I'm going to share some of my favorite fashion and worst fashion looks of the last couple of weeks. We have, including one outfit, which I forgot to mention in my intro, is sort of reminiscent of a concentration camp outfit. And when somebody said that, I was like, yes, that is exactly what that is. So guys, we are going to get all into this today. And just as a reminder, this is all in good fun. So let's go ahead and start off with one of the, let's say, not as good looks of the week. Alrighty, guys, first we have up here today is Queen Maxima in a Natan ensemble, which I have got to say is not so great. And actually underneath this absolutely hideous jacket is not such a bad green dress. However, most of the rest of the ensemble is not so good. She paired it with some GMV Rossi pumps and some Ferragamo suede loafers. And she tied it off with a Olympia Babylonia necklace, which is kind of interesting, but at the same time, I'm like, does any of this go together? I don't really think so. It seems a very busy and fussy ensemble, and the texture of the coat, it just looks cheap. The coat fit itself looks boxy. This is just an all over no. The green dress underneath is not bad in the slightest, but I think the rest of it is a huge, huge miss. And next we will go with Queen Matilda of the Belgians in this absolutely stunning Dior gown. She wore it for her official state visit to France. And I have to say, although the fit is not perfect, I have to say overall it looks pretty smashing. I love the color. I love the sort of lace sequin detail up top. I think the rich blue velvet is great for this time of year. So I definitely have to give this one a big thumbs up. Her other looks throughout the state visit were like sort of So I decided not to really cover them because they're just kind of meh. So anyways, I would have to say though, I think this one is a great look. So next on the worst dress list, I think I have to go with Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh here. This is not the worst in the world, but I feel like this look is so heavy and I don't really like the pattern. I think the pattern is maybe too busy. The whole look itself, especially with I think the thicker fabric, makes the whole look really heavy. I think it adds a bit to her and I'm just not a great fan of this look. I do like some Erdem pieces, which this is, but I would have to say this is not one that really does it for me. All right, guys, next on the best dress list, and I include this one not only because I think it's pretty good, but honestly because people say, I only say negative things about Meghan. That is not true, guys. If she has a fashion hit, I will say it. And I think this one is not too bad. So this is a set that she's wearing. She has, somebody finally found the trousers and now I can't remember what the brand is, but the top is a J. Crew special collection. She has a Ralph Lauren belt. She has her obviously overly priced jewelry on, some Manolo Blahnik pumps. And this ensemble, I like the colors to it. I think the color blocking here is actually really good. I think it's really complimentary. I think the whole look actually does come together. And I know some people still have issues with particular things, but I actually think she actually does win on this look. So I have to give her a big thumbs up. I don't always do that. Actually, I hardly ever do that. And definitely there will be a huge, massive thumbs down on this list. But I do have to say this look is not too bad. Okay, next on the worst dress list, and I am sorry for this one, but I have to go with Princess Stephanie of Luxembourg at the official sort of induction of her husband as a sort of lieutenant duke to his father. This is part of the transition of power that occurs in Luxembourg. So it's kind of a step 1 to a step 2. And I just have to say, I mean, the color is not terrible on her, but I just really think Nathan is super aging in a lot of ways. I think there's some outfits that look pretty good, but I always feel like she goes with Nathan. I think that's because it's what her mother-in-law likes. And I just think for her, she's younger, obviously, than her mother-in-law. And I think she needs some better and more appropriate outfits for her age, something that can look a little bit younger, a little bit maybe more stylish. I just don't think Nathan is it. I think Nathan works well with women who are older, but younger, I just don't like it. I just wish she would find her style, Stephanie. It might be, again, partly the family dynamics here, because we have seen that Maria Theresa has had her, not only daughter, but her daughters-in-law, in terms of particularly Princess Stephanie, wear her old dresses, which just doesn't work. And I don't think necessarily always that is their preference. So I just have to say again, I think Stephanie is lovely, but I really wish she would get out of her mother-in-law's closet or stop listening to her mother-in-law's advice. That, again, is just my supposition. But there have been a lot of reports over the years that Maria Theresa, who's in the red and doesn't look too bad here, her look is pretty banal, has a bit of a Duchess difficult Meghan Markle style reputation. So that is just something I think about when I see her ensembles, and I'm like, is there nothing better? I always think that. Is there nothing better? I think there is something better. I think there's something works better for her. Again, it could be entirely your own choice, but I hope she is able to find something else that I think works better. Okay, next we have a Queen Mary of Denmark, and she was at the time in Brazil on an official visit wearing some of my absolutely favorite ensembles. This is awesome. So she is wearing a Stella Jean striped dress. She has some Michael Vivian circle sandals on. She changed into sneakers later. She has a belt here that I think is fab. I don't know who made it, but the belt is fab. And she also has her Canopy Bay Malibu hat, which I am still obsessed with. But I love this look. I think this look is amazing. It is simple, classic, elegant, very merry, and perfect for the hot, humid temperatures in Brazil. So 100% thumbs up here. So from the hot, humid temperatures of Brazil to the frigid cold of Norway, we have Crown Princess Mette-Marit on the worst dress list. And this in particular is because of the belt. I don't know the designer of the dress. I couldn't get that many pictures. Sometimes it's really hard to get pictures out of certain countries. Norway is one of them. And for me, this particular look comes down to the belt, which is not fitted in the correct location. And because of that, it tends to look sloppy. It tends to look like they couldn't belt it correctly or something. I have no clue what's going on. But the belt situation here is really weird. It's like hanging low. It should be tight. If you're going to wear a belt like that, it has to be tight. If you're not going to wear it tight, it's not going to work. So this doesn't work. Just gotta say. So I have to put this on the worst dress list from what I can see. All right, guys, next we have a Princess Charlene of Monaco. In this, I think it's a light pink suit, although I'm not entirely sure. I tried a little bit to find it. It's sort of nondescript, like so many things. So sometimes those more nondescript items are really hard to find. And more as I tried to do fashion IDs, I keep thinking to myself, I've trusted a lot of people for so long, and I'm just not sure if they actually really knew what they were talking about or not. You put some things in, and I put something in once, and literally nothing came up. And I'm like, okay. And it was like pretty descript. And so I was like, okay, does this thing exist? Like, how do you find it? And so all that to say, I will hopefully maybe at some point find the designer of this, because I think it's possible. But I have to say, I think she just looks lovely here. This is the healthiest I feel like we've seen her look in quite a while. She dealt with a lot of health issues, and so I just think she looks just stunning here. She looks unbelievably happy, which is fabulous to see. And I feel like she looks really healthy. The coloring is wonderful on her. So I have to say she looks absolutely fab. Next on the best dress list, guys, we have Catherine, the Princess of Wales. Yes, I know I missed a worst dressed, but I think we have more best than worst. So let's move over to Catherine, who has dealt with obviously her own health issues this year. And for this visit, they were in Southport visiting the families and first responders of those young girls who were killed in a stabbing attack in the summer. And I have to say, I'm loving Catherine's look here. I love how she coordinated in many ways with her husband. I'm loving the color. It's very fall. And what I appreciate about this whole look as well is that you can, especially when she's not smiling, you can see sort of how this year has been draining for her. And I actually even think this outfit, the coat maybe even fits. If it's possible, it might be a little loose, although she wore sort of a thicker, like a sweater ensemble with it the first time she wore it. So it's an Alexander McQueen coat. She's wearing her Whistles dress, and she also has her lower GMV to Rossi pumps on. What I've noticed in the couple of public engagements we've had from Catherine is that she's definitely going with a lower heel. She always pretty much went with the 105, except for when she was like pregnant or something like that. So this is a very interesting change. I wonder if we'll see more of it. Obviously, as well, we've seen Queen Letizia adopt a lot lower heels because of her health issues with her feet. So I am curious if this is something that Catherine will be more consistent with. She may just decide, you know what, I spent a year struggling with my health. Screw the high heels. I'm going lower. So I'm curious if we will see more of that there in the future. And I think she looks perfect. This is her first in-person engagement with her husband this year, just them one-on-one with people. And I think obviously it was a very important engagement to attend. I think she looked particularly amazing here, and it's great to see her out and about yet again. So I can't wait to see Catherine hopefully up here in the next week or two, maybe. That would be awesome. All right, next we have Queen Mary of Denmark. And I know she doesn't make the worst dress list often, but I do have to give her this one. She is unveiling the official Christmas stamps in Denmark, and she's wearing this Zimmermann top, which I just think is kind of too busy. I think it would have been better if she went with something simpler, especially because the background with the stamps is also very busy. I think it would have been made much more sense to have a simple ensemble. I just don't like this top. I don't think the top works with the engagement. And I just find the whole look a little bit busy and just not really something I think works super well. Okay, so next we have a bit of a mystery, and that is Queen Letizia of Spain in this lovely, intricate white ensemble, which no one seems to be able to identify, despite how obviously like intricate and I would think one of a kind sort of the top of this dress is, as you'll see here. When I put it into search engines, all that came up is a dress that Catherine wore in Australia like 10 years ago. It's nothing good is coming up, or nothing that really works is coming up. So I think it raises a lot of interesting questions, and it has been speculated that this dress actually belongs to Queen Sofia of Spain, and so it is a vintage. If that is true, that is fab. So I have to give it a thumbs up. The only thing I don't like about it are the shoes. For some reason, I really feel like Letizia doesn't have the best taste in kitten heels, if that's a thing. I just think they always look so weird. And it's partly I don't like kitten heels either way. And I know it's a health issue why she wears them. I prefer a taller heel because that gives you height. And she sort of needs it, especially standing next to her husband who's 6'5". I just don't really like her kitten heel thing. I know she has to do it, so that's why I'm not really dinging her for it. But I love the dress. I think the dress, especially maybe what is the sort of, you could say, message behind it, is very cool. All right, so next on the worst dress list, I do have to give it to Crown Princess Victoria of Sweden in this very loud, busy printed ensemble. Now, I will say a dress like this could work in person. I just think it photographs terribly. It is just too busy. It's too much. And I think sometimes with how she wears her hair so severe, maybe she compensates by going with overly frilly or overly flowery ensembles. She tends to like flower prints. I just don't think it works. It doesn't work at all. The print is way too loud. She needs to dial it down. I think oftentimes things are better, at least for royals ladies, when the pattern is either very simple or just undetectable or something. I don't know. But this is just an epic mess. I don't like it. I don't think she looks particularly good in it, and I don't think it's particularly flattering. So I have to, again, give this one a thumbs down. So next we have a Queen Mary for the official opening of the Danish Parliament. I love this ensemble. I love her hat. I think her hat is fabulous. This is entirely a rewear. And I think she looks stunning here. I especially love this picture of her in the wind. I think this is really, really amazing. So I have to say, really loving this look. So next we have a Queen Letizia of Spain in this lavender suit. Now, the suit is not bad in terms of the color. The cut is horrific. The cut is horrifically boxy. I hate it. I hate it. I also feel like lavender is a bit odd for fall, but the main thing is the boxy cut. She has some incredible suits that look amazing on her. This one is not it. And she has gone with some of these more boxy suits recently, which I really feel like do her absolutely no favors. I'm always of the opinion of just because something is in style right now, which apparently boxy stuff is, just because it is doesn't mean it works. Sometimes it's best to ignore the trends and go with the classic. And I think she should with the suits here. That's just my thought though. So I almost put this one as the best dressed of the week, but I do have a different choice. But I do have to give a massive shout out to Charlotte Katsaragi in the Chanel ensemble. Everything is Chanel. She's a brand ambassador for them. And usually she is in the most hideous ensembles from Chanel, but this one is actually really good. This one is really good. I think it looks incredibly stunning and amazing. I love the blue. I think the blue complements her so well. I love the sort of nod, I feel like, to the 90s simplicity. I think that works really, really well there. I think she pulls this look off super well. Unfortunately, Chanel is not always kind to her, as we will see later in this video, but in this instance, it was kind. So I think this look is one I would love to buy if I could ever afford a Chanel like outfit, not just like the cheapest thing you could find is Chanel, like the makeup. Next on the worst dress list, I do have to give it to, sadly, Queen Matilda of the Belgians. I like the idea of what I think this dress is attempting to achieve, but I get the sense that there's some sort of design flaw somewhere. It's not fitted correctly enough. You can't see underneath enough to really give it shape, because to me, it just looks like a shower curtain. That's what comes to mind. In fact, I am going to include a picture of Doja Cat. That is sort of what I was thinking it looked like. And it's not entirely one for one, but I just think there's something missing from this look. And I think it's fit. Fit helps define shape and everything. And I think, although I don't know if it's because we didn't get great pictures of the look that somehow it's not really coming across. I think it could look actually really spectacular, but there's something about it that's just not coming across. So I do have to put it on the worst dress list for that reason. All right, guys, next we have Princess Madeline of Sweden in this camel ensemble. I saw this ensemble, guys, and I just love it. I love all the camels and the neutral tones together. I'm not a huge purveyor of always having neutrals on, but I think this look really works. It has a different element. It has a comfort to it. The boots she's wearing, she's had for well over a decade. So if you're curious, she's wearing an H&M coat, a Waku top in camel, House of Dagmar skirt, Paul and Joe Harlow boots, which again, she's had for a long time. Her earrings are Sophie by Sophie, and the necklace is by Eva Braun. And so I absolutely love this. I think this is an amazing look. I think it's perfect casual working royal. I think it really, really just sets a great tone here. So next we have a Charlotte Katsaragi at the Chanel show. And I was waiting because we had seen Beatrice Borromeo at the Dior show, and I knew the Chanel show happened at the same time. I think this is for spring, summer 2024, 2025. And at first, I didn't hate this look. I hated most of the Chanel looks she's been in. But somebody commented on X and told me, oh yeah, that looks like a concentration camp uniform. And I was like, oh my gosh, it does. It absolutely does. And once I saw that, I could not unsee it. And yeah. So I am not sure if this is something that should be worn by other people. It also looks like pajamas, and in the fabric air, the pattern reminds me of a pillow I had as a child. Like my childhood pillow had a very similar pattern. So I have to give this one a big old thumbs down. Big old fat thumbs down for this look. So guys, but let me know your thoughts below as well. And this almost made the worst look of the last like 3 weeks. Almost made it, but not quite. So next we have Queen Mary of Denmark for the Iceland state visit, and she is wearing a Soren Leschmidt bespoke coat dress. And she wore this to the coronation of King Charles, and I have to say I love it. I love the color. I love the fit of this, although I will say I prefer her appearance at the coronation just because I was so surprised by the combination of the purple and turquoise, how amazing that looked. That was a big surprise. She has Gianvito Rossi pumps on. She has a Jane Taylor fascinator and a Carland Copenhagen clutch. So I have to say I give this look a amazing, huge 2 thumbs up. I think she looks absolutely fabulous here. So when it comes down to the choice of the best and worst look of the week, it actually came down, or weeks in this instance, it actually came down to one single designer, Carolina Herrera. And so the worst look of the past several weeks is Meghan Markle in this utterly hideous Carolina Herrera dress. This thing must be burned. I have said that several times, I know, but it should be burned. I don't know why. After the first time she wore it, she didn't just put it in a bin and burn it. It is horrible. I don't know why you would spend $6,000+ to have a dress that makes your breasts look overly wide and your nipples inverted and droopy, by the way. Don't know why you would pay $6,000 for that. That like boggles my mind. Like I'm still having a hard time processing how ridiculous that is. So again, huge thumbs down. It's horrid. It should be burned. That is all I have to say. This dress should die. The dress is awful. It's awful. It's so bad. It's so bad. And it's funny because I had somebody on X tell me, well, it's like something to the effect of, well, other people would wear it. And I was like, I have never seen anybody else wear this dress, and it's $6,000, and nobody else with any sense would actually buy this dress. It didn't even look good on the model, in my opinion. If the dress doesn't look good on a model, it is not going to look good on you. Just a good cardinal rule. So for the best look of the week, I do have to give it to Queen Letizia of Spain. I love this Carolina Herrera dress. It has such an old Hollywood glamour to it. I find it to be absolutely incredible. I could so see like Grace Kelly wearing this dress. It just has this like old world glamorous feel to it. And it has this, I would argue, a hint of sexiness without going too far, and which I believe sort of makes it kind of this exact opposite of Meghan's. Whereas Meghan's is way too sexy and crass, Letizia's is classy, elegant, and regal. This is what you should strive for. Classic style. It could be worn, I think, in any decade. Obviously, any century might be a bit of a stretch, but I could so see Grace Kelly gracing this dress. And I think Letizia looks amazing in it as well. She has Massimo Dutti leather slingback pumps on, and they are kitten heels as she's been wearing. I'm hoping, although I think it's kind of likely to see her in high heels again, because I think that does give some of these looks a greater elegance. But overall, I think this is smashing. If I could get this dress, guys, I would 100% get this dress. I'm actually having a lot of dress envy at this exact moment looking at these pictures of it. I want it. But alas, no. I do not have it. One day, maybe. I'll keep an eye on the real. You never know what might come up there. Right? All right, guys, that is it for this edition of the best and worst fashion looks of the week. You will have to let me know which one is your favorite, which one is your least favorite. Did I get it right? Did I get it wrong? Is there somebody you would like to see more on this list? Would you like to see more of the men on this list as well? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys again very, very soon. Bye.